The counties of Ireland are scattered with more than 3,000 holy wells, more than any other country in the world, each attached to their own saints, legends, and healing properties. The holy wells have been sites for worship and prayer for centuries and are still visited today by those who seek the miraculous cures offered by the waters. The origin of the holy wells goes back many years. Even before the coming of Christianity, the wells were known as sacred sites to those who worshipped pagan gods. They were then blessed and consecrated by the early saints of Ireland, such as St. Patrick. On the one hand, when Catholics were forbidden under the penal laws to assemble for Mass in churches, altars were erected beside the wells, and Mass was said there in secret whenever possible for the assembled faithful. On the other hand, ancient features associated with holy wells, such as venerated or held stones, have been incorporated into the practices or rituals each performed there. In holy wells, living water represents both physical and spiritual life, as it purifies and renews. In other words, wells have been regarded as sacred places since long before they were credited with the Christian saint's name they bear today. In pre-Christian times, wells served as a form of religion of nature, where sources of water were regarded with honor. Materially, they range from literal holes in the ground to substantial landscape sites, with a mix of natural and creatively introduced elements. In general, the sites contain the wells themselves, streams, stones, paths, trees, altars, and statues, all of which have physical form, but wider symbolic meaning as well. In these contemplative spaces, one's own embodied experience can be expressed in those affecting dimensions of mood and emotion, linked to a range of health elements of anxiety, hope, belief, but also of curiosity and joy. But what about where can we find them? Well, they're mostly found close to a church or graveyard or near to historical remains, providing easy access to holy water. Curiously, all holy wells in Ireland bear striking resemblance to one another. Each well is usually found in a quiet place and covered by flat stone slab to preserve it from contamination. But the question is, what do the people do when they go to a holy well? A distinctive feature that characterizes the Irish holy wells in terms of culture and religion is their associated rituals and practices, which sometimes people leave tokens as an offer to the well or some belongings, but the most common practice is tying a cloth of a ribbon to a tree that is near the well.
The custom of holding a patron on the well as a feast day of the patron saint is very common in 52 wells, but in other places it is considered a day of public holiday, when people dance, play games, and have fun. The most popular days are the Assumption on 15 August and St. Patrick's on 17th March. What does people believe about holy wells? There are many legends surrounding holy wells, as if a fish lives in the well, who watches it will be cured from a disease. It's also believed that if someone takes a fish of the well, he or she will have bad consequences. On the other hand, it is believed that at sites, abandoned shows or couches were also to be found as a metaphor for the successful cure. There are many holy wells in Ireland which people have heard those legends of, but we will mention the one that seemed more interesting to us. It is St. Patrick's Well. It is situated on the Sturrell Hill, a famous place for pilgrimages. The water rises from a spring and runs into two baths, one public and the other private. At the spring, people watch as they ask, and in the baths, they go in naked and dip themselves. In addition, people go to a sort of an altar, probably the site of an old chapel by way of penance, sometimes on their knees. On the side of the hill to the south, there is a rock with the form of a seat, which they call St. Patrick's Chair, with a way round it over the broken rock. Passing through this way, sometimes even on the knees, it is also a part of the penance. Legend tells us that St. Patrick himself was known to cures as well as a blaze. At St. Patrick's Wells, there is custom to make a visit on 3 successive days, to obtain relief from headache. To conclude, it is important to mention that nowadays in Ireland, the development of an organized medical culture and system from the mid-19th century onwards was a significant factor in declining holy wells.
Hi, I'm Maria,
And I'm Natalia.
and we are doing the topic of holy wells. We have to say that it has been a great challenge for us to do this research because we didn't know what the holy wells were about. But we have finally done it, the entire project together. I have narrated the first part.
And I did the second one, but we have done together the search for the information.
We started collecting information about some articles from the local library of Limerick, and then we added and completed the information with material from the university library.
Having devoted many hours to this research, but not happy with the opinion, we decided to delve into the area, special collections, something that made us feel quite privileged to have able to enjoy such an ancient bibliography of that category.
At first, we didn't know what to focus on, so we went to several churches in the city here in Limerick with the idea that someone could give us some testimony in first person about any holy well, but unfortunately we couldn't talk to anyone that knew about it.
In the end, we decided to look for information in some less well-known holy wells, since all the information that we found was about the most popular.
We're very happy with the work we have done because we've learned a lot about a subject that we did not handle at all.
And although it all cost a lot of effort because of the added difficulty of doing it in a language that is not ours, the result has been very rewarding.
So thank you so much.
Bye, thank you.